Teletix, $2.59. 5 VCRs with 4 headlong play and remote control, $3.99. Latest model camcorders from $6.99. The televisions in with Ferrand in Coburg and Geelong.
The prices will knock you out.
These are the moments.
Kodak brings you the film for every moment. Into Kodak Gold Flexi Clear 400. After the sun's gone down, some films often give you dull, ordinary flash photos. But with Kodak Flexi Film, you get bright, clear photos in a wide range of light conditions, especially with flash. So look for Kodak Gold Flexi Film, now available in special offer twin packs.
Bedtime bath and bedtime lotion. A routine clinically proven.
And he walks right on by. They had a fire in that car earlier in the week and they blew a turbo on Friday, so they've had their dramas with the Starion. And look at the gap that Walkinshaw's got. Here's the dice coming up now onto the back of the Wilmington Jag. Johnson and Richards. Richards having disposed of Brock.
They pass the truck on the way down.
With Alan Grice's car on the back.
It's heading back to the pit area, and here comes Jim Richards on Dick Johnson, coming down Conrod Straight. And Richards has been the mover in this race so far. Coming up to get now closer to the run to Robbie Francevic. Johnson has had the go-by. We'll see who wins this one under brakes. Down on the inside, Dick's going to have a go, is he? To the left-hander. So Jim Richards takes Johnson, moves away slightly as they go beneath the Hardie Bridge, and one more time along pit straight.
The leading bunch have already put a lap on Steve Masterton in car number 2 with just 13 laps down.
And John Goss has slipped by Francevic, so it's Jaguar 1-2 again on the track at the moment. Look at this, Johnson on Mountain Straight, puts the boot in. Close enough to have a chat. Dick gives him the thumbs up and a big smile and says, "Okay, pal, your turn."
But he's got the inside run to the next corner, so Dick loses out on that one.
I've got you covered, Dick. Dick lets him go. The track might be wide, but it's not wide enough to take the outside there.
Well, in the initial turn out of the corner, the V8 Mustang has more torque than the BMW. But once the BM gets revving, you can see just how quick it is.
So this gives Jim Richards 4th place on the racetrack. Tom Walkinshaw leads. John Goss is 2nd. Robbie Francevic 3rd. Then Jim Richards, Dick Johnson, Peter Brock and Roberto Rabalia.
So across Mount Panorama, we follow Jim Richards with Dick Johnson in hot pursuit. Tom Walkinshaw, though, still leads the James Hardie 1,000 for 85. Has some problems here with the number 17 car blowing smoke. Peter Brock, not really the problem that Dick Johnson wanted. Dick, when did the problem first come up?
Oh, mate, I don't know, but it just all of a sudden got bad on the last lap.
Your oil pressure and everything else is fine?
It's brand new. I'll have to just call in and see what's going on, because I tell you what, I think I'm in a TAA Airbus going through the clouds here.
Dick, you had a problem like this yesterday. Same thing, do you think?
It must be. Split an oil cooler yesterday after we went over those fantastic speed bumps in the pit lane after Hardie's Heroes, but mate, I don't know.
How can you breathe in there?
With much difficulty, I must admit.
Okay, I'll let you go and do your pits. Thanks, Dick.
Okay.
So Dick Johnson heads to the pit area, an unscheduled pit stop. His crew are waiting for him. They're aware of the problem. Might be an oil cooler, but he's wasting no time. He hits the hurdles, though. That's the first of them.
It appears to be coming out from the front left-hand side there.
Yes,
and it looks exactly like what happened yesterday, which, as Dick described, was the fault of an oil cooler when he was coming back up the pit lane backwards after Hardie's Heroes. He just grounded off on the deck. And there's the Jim Keogh BMW from Melbourne.
This is a two-way piece of road, 50 weeks of the year. This is not the way to be looking at the oncoming traffic. Now, Jim has got a big problem. He's got the sand trap up there, so he can't get out, and he's right on a blind corner.
Well, he's waiting for some indication from the flag marshals that the track round the bend there is clear to give him an opportunity to turn. Gary Rogers co-driving with Jim Keogh in this car.
I wouldn't like to do a three-point turn there.
No.
I hope he doesn't, because he hasn't got any room to move. Meanwhile, mechanics are hard at work on Dick Johnson's car. Got all oil over the extractors, I would think. Larry Perkins is down there.
They have had a marvellous run so far in the lead up to the James Hardie. So confident, absolutely no problems with this car. The only drama they had was on Tuesday. They had little problem with the distributor drive, and such cruel luck for Dick Johnson.
Working frantically, trying to clean it off for a start before they can get to the root of the problem. Larry Perkins co-driving with Dick this year, head under the bonnet. Well, he's made the turn by the look of it. Jim Keogh in the BMW at the top of the mountain after ending up facing the wrong way, getting into gear again and heading back down the mountain, while Dick Johnson waits impatiently behind the wheel of his Mustang in the pits. Oil, look at it running, goodness me, like a flood.
Is it oil or is it water? They seem to, I can hear Larry shouting water all the time as Dino works there at the front of the car. They're pouring water into it for some reason. Listen to Larry in the background there.
Obviously got bumps to the side of the door with frustration because they're getting away. The Walkinshaws, the Francevics, the Gosses, the Richards and the Brocks.
Goodness me. Now there's obviously oil mixed up in there. That's why they're watering it down.
Well, they carry out their work for a bird's eye view of the action. He's certainly got that. Pat Welsh.
Dick, any idea at this stage what's wrong?
Yeah, it split another damn oil cooler by the look of it.
It's a problem you had yesterday.
Well, obviously, from these speed bumps here.
Very disappointing at this stage.
The oil cooler will run without it.
The car was circulating perfectly though, apart from everything.
No problem.
Okay, you're hopeful to get it back on the track very quickly?
We'll be out there, and I tell you what, don't count us out yet. We're still looking half all right.
Okay, Dick, best of luck. Thank you.
Oil going in now. Oh, now here's the story, right? This car, Peter McLeod's Commodore with Graham Bailey, his co-driver, came off 21st position on the grid, and they are now in 8th spot. A great performance. Johnny Harvey is right behind them on the racetrack.
Yes, McLeod was involved in a sensational battle with Kent Bagent and also Kevin Bartlett. There's Bartlett in car number 42, the remaining works entry from the Mitsubishi people. And this car here being campaigned by Peter McLeod and Graham Bailey, built in Gosford by Precinct Performance, now being challenged by the second of the Mobile Holden dealer team Commodores. John Harvey at the wheel. McLeod has had a pretty good run in the lead up this week, no dramas. Very happy with the progress of this car, as you can see. Behind we still have Bartlett, and then a reasonable gap back to Kent Bagent.
McLeod pursued by Johnny Harvey across the top of the mountain as we take a check of the top 10 with 17 laps down in the James Hardie 1000, and it's Tom Walkinshaw, the number 8 Jaguar, in the lead from Johnny Goss in the number 10 Jag. Then comes 55 Robbie Francevic, and car 1 Jim Richards. Car 5 is in 5th spot, that's Peter Brock in the Commodore. Car 21 Roberto Ravalia in the BMW holds down 6th. Then Peter McLeod, whom we just saw in car number 4, followed in turn by John Harvey in car number 7, the second of the dealer team Commodores. Kevin Bartlett in the Starion going extremely well in 9th place, and Kent Bagent in the BMW from New Zealand, currently in 10th spot in the James Hardie 1000 for 1985.
So Tom Walkinshaw continues to lead on lap 16, the JH 1000. scoop up that protects the race view camera on the 31 JPS BMW from chipping, and there you can see the headlight version of our special effects camera. And this will give you quite a ride, very, very close to the ground, down Conrod Straight. Don't forget the edited highlights of the 1985 James Hardie 1000 at Mount Panorama today. Will be available from Tuesday, October 8 on a 1-hour Bega or VHS cassette with stereo sound, incidentally, from ATLAB Australia, Television Centre, Epping, New South Wales. I'll tell you what, it's not bad. The cost of only $20 per cassette and $3 for postage and handling. All the highlights of the JH 1000 today. And forget ATLAB Australia, Television Centre, Epping, New South Wales 2121.
Dick Johnson's back on the track, Mike, after that oil seal problem, and he was in there for 5 minutes 40. That's you know, a long time, 2 laps around here.
Well, it's still a long, long way to go. We saw only too well out of the recent Castrol race at Sandown. Jim Richards was well and truly out of it. But as all the cards fell later in the afternoon, he came back through the field. Our 2 men in the pits, of course, Alan Moffat and Pat Welsh. Time now for a pit report.
Well, Alan, can Dick come back?
It's awfully hard to drop that amount of time, and so despairing for the crew. I'm almost crying for them. Sitting here next to Jill, watching them, I know the effort they put into a team like that, and if that is determined to be a result of those speed humps, they were an idiotic idea in the first place. Most of the drivers didn't want them, but in the interest of pulling down the speeds in the pit lane because the mechanics are hanging signs out against the wall, we now have one of our lead teams running in a second-rate position. I can't say enough against them, if that proves to be the point.
I think we heard Neil Crompton say that Dick has had virtually a trouble-free week. He's looked so relaxed with Larry Perkins helping him, and now to hit this sort of trouble this early in the race, it's a tragic blow.
Small cracks can develop. Oil is one of the thicker than water. It doesn't always come out. It's not under high pressure like the engine system is. And a Saturday night little miss, or Saturday afternoon little mishap running down the pit lane manifests itself 2 or 3, 15 laps into the race. It's just disgusting.
Well, Alan, once again, we're seeing a very high attrition rate, because I think something like 15, which is just under a third of the entire field, has already made pit stops. They would have to be unscheduled at this stage.
Everybody's driving extremely hard. I think they've got jagitis. They're afraid. They've seen the lap times that the big cats have been posting in practice. They know they have to run hard if they've even got a chance. And I'm quite amazed at just how fast they are going in the opening laps. I think Tom Walkinshaw is really putting a fright into everybody, and you're seeing the result of it in the pit lane.
Surprised at the performance of the Volvo?
Not really.
Not really. It's going very well.
No, I think the Volvo was a sleeper in the field, well prepared, well driven, and has every chance of being there at the end.
Okay, Alan, Mike, as you've heard, a fairly high attrition rate here so far. 15 or 16 cars have made unscheduled pit stops. And, of course, we're looking forward to the scheduled pit stop of the 8-car Tom Walkinshaw's Jaguar, scheduled for around about after 33 laps.
Okay, Paddy Walsh, we're following Kevin Bartlett, of course, in car number 42.
Yes, the leader of the under 3-litre division, Mike. And as I said, sensational performance so far by this the smaller capacity car, Kent Bagent, in the number 3 BMW from New Zealand. And as you can see, Dick Johnson having had, oh look, smoke still from Dick's car. Maybe it's just excess oil burning off. But Bartlett has really done it well to be in 9th spot on the track at the moment. He's only just behind Peter McLeod's Commodore, and as I said, just ahead of the BMW of Kent Bagent. Peter McKay co-driving with Kevin Bartlett here at Mount Panorama this year. Peter, motor racing writer, of course, and they'll have plenty to write about after today's race, I'd imagine. Let's check on just who's out of the race at this stage. Fitzgerald and Jones crashed lap 1. As did French and Grant, they crashed together. Allen and Dixon, the big Jag number 9, went out on lap 2 with engine trouble. Grice and Cullen, we're still not sure what happened to their car, but on lap 4 going up the mountain, Grice just pulled off to the side and stepped out. The position, sorry Michael, the position is that Kevin Bartlett is leading the smaller capacity cars at the moment, but Tom Walkinshaw is certainly leading the race.
Kevin Bartlett goes through. But Super Tom is out front. The James Hardie 1000.
The rear end of Robbie Francevic's turbocharged Volvo, and of course Francevic is holding down third spot at the present time on the racetrack and putting in a mighty performance. He's only got the Jags up front. Walkinshaw is the leader at this stage of the race from Johnny Goss in the number 10 Jaguar. Then comes Francevic.
The gap, Gary, between first and second, that's Tom Walkinshaw and John Goss, 10 seconds. From Goss back to this car here, number 55, Robbie Francevic, 17 seconds.
Pretty sizable, isn't it?
Yep.
With 21 laps down in the race so far.
Although Goss is actually catching Walkinshaw at a fairly great rate of knots, because
Walkinshaw had a lead of nearly 15 seconds over the nearest car at one stage, so Goss has pegged that back by a third and making a big run on the leader. But Robbie Francevic is doing a great job to hang on to the tail of the Jaguars at this stage in the four-cylinder, remember, turbocharged Volvo.
Which, of course, is not a bad effort when you consider he's now third outright and first in his class. So he's doing exceptionally well.
But the Davison-Kramer Mustang in the sand trap.
Not a great day for Mustangs, is it? Because our New Zealand viewers will be saddened to hear that the Anderson brothers Mustang just a few moments ago was rolled off behind the pits and looks like it may have run its race. But this one,
he's also gone into the fence. Apart from just lobbing into the sand trap, you can see the bonnet on the car pretty second hand.
This is just up in that new sand trap area, isn't it? Coming up towards Hell Corner.
Here at the end of pit straight, yeah.
Well, he's gone off because the front of the hood is somewhat rumpled, and I'll tell you what, that's going to be in there for quite a spell. I wish them well with getting the car out, but wretched luck, that combination. The car been running very, very well here for the last few days.
The gap, incidentally, between Walkinshaw and Goss is now down to 8.4 seconds.
And off the track and on as well. The driver hops the fence out of harm's way, and the car is not going anywhere for the moment. Robbie Francevic, whom we were talking about a moment ago, is in fact just about to go past the crash site and wend his way up Mountain Straight once more.
And the gap between Francevic and Richards, who we see here, 4.5 seconds.
Here's the race leader coming up on Gary Wilmington's Jaguar. Car number 12, the private entry Jaguar, and gives him the slip pretty smartly.
He's still running very, very strongly at the head of the field. Tom Walkinshaw picked up with race cam coming up over Toledo Corner. Little guy who works very, very hard in the cockpit and does a lot of professional race driving. Been campaigning the Rovers during the European Touring Car Championship this year in Europe. In fact, was in France last weekend for the last round. He'll be on his way home tomorrow morning, heading to Estoril in Portugal for another round of the ETC.
It's amazing, you know, you'd ask yourself the same question about Tom Walkinshaw as you would of Neville Crichton. How do these guys manage to find time to do all of this and run multi-million-dollar business empires at the same time?
Well, Tom Walkinshaw certainly runs a multi-million-dollar business empire, and we'll detail that for you a little later on during today's telecast. In the meantime, though, he's catching up cars very, very quickly on Conrod Straight. Absolutely flying through there. Here he comes. Watch him down through the gears.
While we're looking at Tom Walkinshaw, Steve Masterson is back in the pits in car 2. And the report that I've had on the Grice car is the rotor button in the distributor has failed. They're going to fix it and the car should rejoin the race.
Car 34 is another one that's just returned to the pits again. That's Scotty Taylor and Kevin Kennedy in the Xerox entry, having wretched luck. This is about the second or third time that they've been in. But of course, they're not the only ones. They're not on their lonesome. It's been pretty hectic over there today. And Masterton exiting the pits, the man who started from the rear of the grid, an unusual experience for him. And also the British Rover entry is in the pit. Busy as blazers over there, as they say. And of course, one of the first in today was the number 9 Jaguar, driven by Jeff Allen and Ron Dixon. I think we've got Ron over there at the moment with Alan Moffat.
Yeah, thanks very much, Gary. Well, Ron, as Tom Walkinshaw's agent in Australia, you did as much as anyone to get this fabulous JRA team to Bathurst, and here you are spectating. Very disappointing.
Well, yeah, but that's the way motor racing goes. They had a bit of a shunt in the first lap, and some headlight glass got caught up into the intake, and that's what stopped the engine. So it is a shame, but you of all people would know that those sorts of things happen in motor racing, and I think the Jaguar people accept that. They've been in it for a long time, so we just hope we get the other two cars home 1-2.
Well, a tremendous credit to you for getting these fine team all the way from Europe, and we hope you're back next year and behind the wheel as well.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Alan Moffat and Ron Dixon. I know how disappointed he must feel. As Alan pointed out, he put the whole package together, the transportation and the accommodation and everything else in conjunction with JRA, and to have to sit out the race after being almost assured, in fact, you're going to get a finish in the top 5 or 6.
Mike, the Peter Williamson car number 44, the Supra, is in the pits, and here's the McClure Ellis Commodore trying to back its way up Mountain Straight.
Shoo, only just got out of the way in time too.
There's a wheel that they didn't need, and meanwhile, number 8 continues to lead with Super Tom up front and doing it very, very easily. In
Tom Walkinshaw, incidentally, is averaging about 2:23 as he leads the James Hardie 1000.
Quick pit stop.
It was
in car number 44.
Spark plug problems.
Spark plug problems for Peter Williamson, but he now rejoins the race in car number 44, the Toyota Supra. Meanwhile, we're back carrying race cam with Tom Walkinshaw. And it's good morning, Tom. How easy does it seem to be going so far for you?
Well, all I'm doing is nursing the car along, trying to keep off the bumps and keep out of the trouble in the traffic. The biggest problem you have is to avoid stones when somebody has a moment and knocks some stones across the circuit. But apart from that, it's okay.
What about the traffic out there? There seems to be a lot of it.
Yeah, it's busy at the Piccadilly Circus in the rush hour.
But tell me this, are they all obeying the signals? Are they giving the fast cars a fair go?
Yeah, the guys are fairly good actually. It's a lot better than an ETC race, where most of the guys drive around as if they don't have mirrors. But most of these chaps are looking, so it's quite good.
Well, you must be happy everything's going well for you, and at least you're avenging those terrible memories of last year.
Yeah, it's got okay at the moment. It's a long way to go.
Well, at least, Tom, you got off the starting line, and that's got to be a plus.
Yeah, I was taking it so steadily, I just went off at a crawl.
Let you get back to it. Thanks for the talk. We'll come back to you later.
Thank you.
Tommy Walkinshaw.
Mark Allen Grice has rejoined the race after being carted back to the pits on the back of a truck and spending the best part of 20 laps there to correct whatever was wrong with the number 6 Commodore. Has rejoined the race.
Well, at least he's back in. It's a long way to go, but he spent a fair time out of it.
This looks like the best of British.
Yes, the best of British is correct. This is the Tim Slako Rover that Tom Walkinshaw comes up with and goes, whoa. That's the Alf Barbagallo entry from Western Australia. And he's been performing very, very well here throughout the week. There's the speed difference, the end, as they come down Conrod Straight. But the scrap so far surrounds Robbie Francevic and the ever-closing Jim Richards.
Francevic and Richards nose to tail as they take the corner at Forest Elbow and onto Conrod Straight. And this really is a great dice. Jaguar was running first and second, remember, Walkinshaw and Goss, and then quite a gap to these two cars, but you couldn't put a thumbnail between Francevic and Richards as they come down towards the braking area at the bottom of Conrod Straight. Whatever that small pit stop was that Peter Williamson had, they didn't rectify it because he's back in there again. Now let's see what happens here. The bonnet's up and they're working on it. Under brakes, Richards is catching Francevic. He's got him. He's got the...
Wasn't he? Just pick up the phone and ring him.
I don't know.
What's the worst that can happen? You find out it's over, which is what you think anyway. You have to post his string vest back and get someone else to put the washers on.
Relationship.
Some of us would be perfectly happy with a ridiculous part-time teenage dating relationship.
Hey, everyone listen, I've had this idea. You know the Mullet's house next door?
You're young, it's different.
It's all right, don't bother on to...
Brian.
So, I suppose, dinner would be out of the question.
I could be persuaded.
The next morning, Dad was wearing a tie again and reading the Times and doing his toast for exactly 45 seconds. And as for Dad shaking his thang...
Yes, I think the less said about that, the better.
Where are my frosted chocolate meteor bites?
I threw them away. Lord alone knows what I was doing, letting you have them in the first place. You'll thank me when you're 45 and you've got all your own teeth and regular bowel movements.
It's nice to have you back, Dad.
Thanks. It's nice to be back.
But this is called fruit. Try it. It's quite nice.
I heard that.
Wow, so he was actually in this fight?
Yeah, and
May as well give him a ring right now.
that was my idea.
Joe.
But it was. I came in and said I'd had this brainwave and you two just...
Well, you just put a sock in it for 5 minutes.
Just because Jim's got a girlfriend doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You don't have to be grouchy to everyone.
Okay, that's it.
I say, can go give them a hard time too?
Brandon.
No way, Kelly's on top.
You're already up for assault, mate. You'd have to be a fool to keep talking like this.
I've got nothing more to say to you.
Who'd be the biggest name we could possibly have on Live and Kicking tonight, Dougie?
Without doubt, Nicky Winmar, Jace.
Exactly. Tonight he's popping in for a chat.
But I don't know if even he can overshadow the great Olympic gold medalist, Linford Christie.
Two of the tough boys, Buddha Hocking and Johnny Worsfold, and we'll go surfing with world champ Lane Beachley.
And Randy Lutton will tell us about this big grab he took on the weekend.
He giggles more than you, Dougie. It's going to be a great show. That's Live and Kicking at 9:30 with Nicky Winmar. See you then.
And breathe in.
This Easter, you'll find True Value in every corner of our stores. Well, look what I found at a great price.
GP Searcher Torch, batteries included, $9.95.
Take a look at this.
Wattle Instant Estopol, Gloss or Satin, $19.95 each.
This won't last at this price.
Ryobi 12-volt cordless drill, $99.
Right now, True Value stores Australia-wide are chock full of Easter savings for you. So if anyone asks where True Value is, tell them it's where you still get service.
You know what?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
What's that?
Is it Sky?
Isn't going to produce a perfect picture. That's where the ANPR software kicks in. Okay, with
the support of his late friend and mentor, the legendary motor race